Are you ready?
Yeah.
For sure. Welcome back to another episode of Neosouled Radio. This is Kyrie Nashim, aka Neosouled, and we are here with San Francisco-based lyricist Frisco Baby. How are you doing?
Doing good, trying to get better every day.
For sure. Can you let our audience know a little bit about yourself and your work?
Yeah. So I go by the name Frisco Baby because I was born in the city, but I was raised in Daly City and the city. But as far as my music, I feel like it all came from San Francisco. Like all the classes I took, it was in the Mission. Like my experiences like performing was all in the city. You know what I mean? So I feel like I gained that passion doing it in the city. And I just want to keep like the culture of like diversity like alive. Like everything from the city, like that culture alive, just not the gentrification. You know?
You would say that gentrification is a big problem.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I know that we hear about it all the time, but as somebody who lives in the city, who's grown up here, what can you tell me about your firsthand experiences with it or what you've witnessed?
Well, first, like, you know, like those new apartment complexes, I think it's like 22nd, 21st. I remember when I first saw it and I just realized how different it looked, like the new Mission. Like, and they even called it the new Mission. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that. Like, and we used to protest like for the no more evictions because once they evict them, we know what's going to happen right after that. You know what I mean? They're going to buy it out. They're going to tax on whatever, you know what I mean? And it just sucks seeing that. Like I was protesting at a young age for it, but I didn't really like comprehend the whole thing. But once I started getting older and I'm like really understanding now, like, damn, like this is crazy. Like it feels unreal. Like even like the projects they're putting up now, like when you pass by them, you see everybody that's out there is low income and they're trying to take all that away, like section by section. And their contracts for these buildings are now saying like they'll still have low income, but it's just 10% low income now. Like that's crazy. Like I had an order to drop off when I was working in the Mission in West Point, and it was at night. So I'm like, my boy was like, I'm gonna go with you, like just to make sure you're safe, you know. So I'm like, okay, it's West Point. And I'm driving, like, you know, like driving through that hood and everything. And then right after, like when I get there, it's the white dude that comes out of one of these new nice buildings. And I'm like, bruh, like what? Like I just drove through all this to get here and you're the one who ordered. You know what I mean? It just
like,
it feels crazy. Like,
at,
yeah, like, and it's sad to see that because I feel like they're just going to try to push us out little by little. And it's like the same thing. It all started in the Bronx, you know, after World War II. Like, so I feel like I see it, how they burn buildings down. No one gets caught for this. And they did it like to one of the schools in the city too. Recently, one of the schools were burning. And I'm like, bruh, like this is crazy because it's just like that. They collect the money and then they get to do what they want.
And history just repeats itself. You know, a lot of people don't even pay attention to stuff like that. Or if they do, they view it as like a isolated incident.
Yeah.
But as you can see, you know, the same type of systems, they continue to perpetuate, you know. But we will definitely get back to the corruption going on in the city. But, you know, to start off, can you tell us a little bit about, you know, your music, your journey, how long you've been creating?
So I was 8 when I started in this group called Fogo na Roupa. We do the carnival that they do in the city every year in May. So I started doing that when I was 8, but I was like dancing, and then I started playing instruments. So I was playing like congas, timbales, repique, like the bell, like more. It's an Afro-Brazilian group. So I grew up on that type of sound first, you know, and being at home, like my siblings all listen to different genres of music. My dad with oldies, my mom with the Spanish, my brother with like 50 Cent, Chameleonaire, like my sister Mariah Carey. Like, so I feel like my brain was everywhere with music. And from there, like, I don't know, I just gained that passion from performing. It's like a second wind, kind of chills every time you perform. Like, it's like kind of like spirit takes over. It's not even me. I just feel like like my soul takes over when I perform, you know?
Do you feel like you have an alter ego?
I don't know. I feel like I want it to be versatile just because I know I'm versatile, you know what I mean? But I try to keep it just me, you know what I mean? I really try to just let it be myself, like. I want people to know the real me through my music, not just like, oh, that's Frisco Baby and she does this. Like, no, like you're going to hear me, like my story through my music, you know? So I feel like that's pretty big. And I started writing when I was like 16, but because of the people I was around, I was kind of scared. Like, you know, like I've been doing music, but scared to try it out because maybe they're not going to like what I'm trying to talk about or whatever. So I just kind of kept that to myself. And then I think it was like about 2.5 years ago, I went to LA when the pandemic started. That March I left and I was in Pomona for like 2 months with my sister down there, and there was a lot going on up here that was affecting me out there, and I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't know anybody out there but my sister, and I was like, you know what, like I started looking at beats again, and I started writing, and I cried to her, and I'm like, listen to this and tell me what you think, and she's like, you need to keep going. And she used to sit there with me, like I would write lyrics in my car and I would show her, and like she just told me like, you know, this is gonna take you somewhere. And this is like when I would just record in my car.
Leveling up cause I refuse to be stagnant. I've been spitting way too crazy, they behind, I'm advancing. How the fuck you gonna sit there telling me to stop rapping? You be slapping corny rappers like you with all the trapping, huh? Man, I ain't jack, but it's a reason why I hit the road. I've been drilling souls, I wonder why they want some more. They wanna touch and smoke my lyrics, go Geronimo. Born a rap queen, so they compare me to a Damio. I'm done with wasting time and energy. I'm replacing elevating with my music therapy. Getting beta got me jaded, made me wait on clarity. Now I see why other rappers make a change eventually. Como crees que es fácil, switching up your every route. Teniendo que rezar y despegando from every crowd. They say si no es tu calentura, no lo sudas. Don't lose focus on these shredders, mucho menos all these putas.
I had no idea what I was going to be doing, like, but I just kept going because I felt like that's kind of where I found myself, was really spending that time alone. And I feel everybody needs that. Once you spend some time alone and find what really interests you, like, you'd be surprised, you know?
That's beautiful. So, you know, creation and music was really a source of healing for you.
Yeah,
is
definitely
what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And you're saying that isolation and that solitude is what kind of led you back to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you had been, you know, making music before that, right? But you just weren't taking it as seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just with that, like, I feel like God just brought the connections like that. And I don't even want to say like that, but artists that are up and coming would definitely want to have. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I would question, like, why is this, like, I don't even feel like I'm all that good, like, and still kind of have this doubt. But then at the same time, I look at it like, I don't think I would be placed in this position to meet these people or be in rooms, like, with certain people, like, for no reason. So I feel like it's kind of like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And especially, like, community events, too. Like, I see artists that talk about their for the community, but I never ever see them out there, you know what I mean, or really active with, like, people that are fighting for change. And that's one thing to me, like, this is dope. Like, this is literally what community looks like, you know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all, and I hope we can keep doing this and building together.
All right, so real quick, how old are you, where are you from, and what made you want to start doing this real quick?
Honestly, it's just giving back. It feels good, you know what I mean? If this was us, we would want somebody doing it for us. It's us for us, you know what I mean?
Say that then. Say that, us for us then.
So let's take a detour from the negativity for a second. You know, we got really real, and I appreciate that. But back to you and your art. Who would you say are the main people who gravitate towards your music?
I don't know. I can't really, like, put them in a box. I feel like it's very different from, like, what I've written. Like, my music is very versatile. It's kind of like, do you listen to Tech Nine?
I've heard of Tech Nine, but no.
Okay, so he's my, like, one of my biggest inspirations. Like, before I started listening to his music, when I was, like, 17, I would only listen to, like, Bay stuff. So I felt like, you know, like, the Bay music as a teenager, I'm like, oh, like, I'm from the Bay, like, you know, and it's exciting and everything. But when I started listening to Tech Nine, I'm like, damn, like, none of his songs sound alike. And I feel like my subconscious mind took that, where all my music, even though I haven't dropped, none of my songs sound alike. So I feel like when I've performed, like, I give people, like, kind of all me. Like, you saw, like, at the Knockout, you know, like, doing the little hype stuff to reel them in, but then boom, I hit you with the message. You know what I mean? And everyone's just like, whoa, like, who's, like, you know what I mean? And I was scared because that was my first venue, like, at a space like that, like in a bar, like lounge, where I'm like, oh my God, everyone's drunk. What if they're not, like, gonna like it? And my friends were telling me, you know, just do the hype stuff for the crowd. And I'm like, that's the thing. Like, I don't want people to look at me like, oh, that's Frisco Baby and she only does the hype music. Like, I want y'all to know I'm really trying to put a message out. And it's really different from what other artists are doing out here, you know? But I feel like that's my biggest thing. But I feel like if I give people a little of what they want to hear, which is most likely the hype stuff, feel good music, they're gonna be like, what else does she have? Hear the message and my God, she's really using her voice for something, you know? So I feel like it's very different. And also, like, the Latin community too. I have my Spanish music, like, I feel like I'm all over it with it, like, from my conscious rap to, like, my having fun rap to my Bay to my lyrical, like, fast stuff, like, just, I feel like all over with it. So I feel like it's just gonna expand in different, like, to different listeners, and they're all just gonna, you know what I mean? No, like, they're gonna like everything.
Yeah, and I definitely, you know, I feel you on having to have that balance in the club setting of getting those club bangers to catch people's attention and reel them in, and then you got to get them with the real, you know, the real deal. You kind of do that the same way in news a lot of time. you'll start off with the salacious stuff, you know, the drama, the gossip to get people listening, and then you lead into, you know, the message, the real stuff, because, you know, people are attracted to, I'm not going to say it's lower vibrational, but it's harder to get people's attention when it's that real deal. You know what I mean? We're kind of programmed not to pay attention to the real stuff. You got to work extra hard. And that's what I respect, you know, especially with you. But I would say, like, all of the female rappers from that event, they all brought something different and unique to the table. You know, it's not something that I was used to hearing from Bay Area artists. And, you know, I love that. I mean, I would say, do you ever get comments that your music is kind of like a throwback 90s type vibe? You know?
Most definitely, one of the producers I work with is actually hella funny because he's like, dude, you and all this East Coast stuff, but honestly, I know I'm from the West Coast and I love the West Coast, but
it gives
the
me
East Coast has a
vibe.
lot. Definitely more of an East Coast influence when it comes to my music. Like,
but you know who that reminds me of?
Who?
Tupac.
Yeah.
He was bi-coastal like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you believe in like the whole astrology stuff?
Yeah. Are you guys the same sign? Or
No. So I'm a Leo, but I'm a Gemini rising. And he was a Gemini. He was a Gemini. Kendrick was is a Gemini. Kanye is a Gemini. And as you could hear, like, with Tupac, he had like his hood stuff. He had his political stuff. He had his like supporting women stuff. Like, he had a bunch of different stuff, but everybody likes his, you know what I mean? So I feel like I hear that also in my music, where it's like, I could do this, and that, but you guys are going to know who I am. You know what I mean? Like, and still trying to be myself through it, you know, because I feel like for at some point, like, I was in LA and I love the people that I work with in LA, but I started really getting sidetracked from what I was trying to do. And I'm glad I caught on to it, like, at an early point before even dropping music, because I realized I'm not doing none of my conscious stuff out here. It's more like I'm having fun, the drinking, smoking, like, you know, like living, like having fun, but it's like, and I've had people tell me, like, you know, the political stuff gets played out. People don't like it, but I'm like, who would I be, like, to just stop, like, everything that I've been working for, like, you know what I mean, or being with community. I don't want them to look down on me when I'm trying to be that voice for them too, you know what I mean? I really want to be known as, like, the voice of the voiceless and still have people, like, have a good time, like, making people have a good time, you know? So I feel like once I had that realization, I came back and, like I said, I had to spend more time alone because I was like, this got me, like, so sidetracked from everything, and I felt bad. I reached out to, like, my comrades, and I was like, dude, like, I just need to stay out here and really be with community, you know? And, like, once I have my alone time, I'll write what I write, but I can't leave that. I feel like it would not really be me to just walk away and just leave them behind, like, when this is where I came from too, you know?
And it's very important, you know, to know yourself and know when you're losing yourself. And I can definitely relate to, you know, like I said, having to get that solitude to get back to yourself and, you know, remember the reasons why you were even out there. I hear a lot that LA is a place that can get a lot of people sidetracked.
Definitely.
And, you know, even the whole notion that social justice and fighting for equality, that type of stuff gets old. I feel like that's what the powers that be want us to think and want us to feel, you know?
Yeah. And it's like Ghostface Killah had said. He was like, if you don't know where you come from, you're not going to know where you're going. You know, if you forget, you lose sight of where you come from, you're going to get lost in the way, you know? And I've seen it, like, happen with some artists, and I'm like, damn, like, I don't want that to be me, you know? Like, I still want to stay true no matter what. So.
And are you an independent artist, or are you represented? Okay.
Yeah, independent.
And so, you know, with many speaking out against record labels and more choosing to be independent, do you want to be in a record label in this day and age?
No, I don't. If it did happen, it would either be with Tech Nine or J. Cole, like Dreamville, for sure. Just because I feel like they're still genuine, they're still true to themselves, like, and they don't rap about, like, just, like, BS, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know what I mean?
And they just signed their first female rapper, Doechii, I'm pretty sure, right? Are you familiar with her?
No.
Oh, yeah, you should check her out. She's pretty sick. But, you know, I'm sitting here with the second, so I'm about to manifest that.
Hell yeah.
But although streaming has largely been seen as a way for independent artists to make money from their music without the need of a label, many reports are saying that streaming services are paying artists around 0.005 cents a stream, which means that a song would have to be streamed 3 times for an artist even to receive a penny. So how does this affect you and other artists in your situation, and what do you think can be done to rectify this?
Honestly, I feel like really supporting, because the streams, I feel like you could pay for that. I've seen it been paid for, and those numbers don't mean nothing. I've met artists that have they're verified on Instagram and they're still in the studio working, like, you know what I mean, trying to still come up because it's just numbers, you know what I mean? And that's when I realized, damn, these numbers don't mean shit.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
even
you know,
Travis
like,
Scott's people are turning on him and exposing him for, you know, inflating his streams.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like big with the marketing, but I feel like as an independent artist, I would definitely recommend like having different streams of income. You know, like I have my merch, like I do a lot of stuff like on the side to have my money, like, because I can't just depend on those numbers. I can't just depend on that music, you know? So I feel like whether it's shows or like giveaways for people to really like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy because I sold out, like, again, like I haven't dropped anything, but I already sold out 3 batches of my merch. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you guys are really like, you know what I mean? But it's helping me. Like, I tried decolonizing myself. So I quit my job because I'm like, I told my dad, you know, I don't think it's that I don't like working, like I do, but I just don't like somebody, like kind of like a hierarchy, you know what I mean? Like trying to tell me what to do, or like corporations where it's like, dude, like you're not a CEO when you're getting paid this much too, and then I get paid this. Like I can't see myself doing that. Like I told my dad, I'm not meant for this system, bro. And this system is not broken. It's doing what it's meant to do. So I feel like it's crazy when I see people think like they can't have dreams or they can't accomplish dreams. So you have to go to school, and then after you get a career, and then you have a family and work till you're 60. Like that's crazy to me. Like that's your whole life right there. Like, and I don't know, it's just really different. So I feel like as far as being an independent artist, definitely have different streams of income. You can't just rely on the music, you know?
I feel that, you know, in a perfect world, we could be able to, but you know, even if this whole streaming situation were to be rectified, I feel like they would find another way, you know, because streaming started off as the solution, and it was really marketed as something that was supposed to be meant for artists, you know, to eat. And so,
and it's like, even like you could see like Larry June, he got his own boba spot. Like that's investing into something else that's gonna keep bringing him money too. He's not just depending on that, you know what I mean? So I feel like you got to think outside of the box as far as like income. And
it's also very important to keep that community connection, you know, stay in touch with your peoples, you know. It's not to say that, you know, once you make it out the hood, quote unquote, you have to stay in the hood, but you definitely shouldn't forget where you came from.
Exactly.
And, you know, like you already pointed out, a lot of people will, you know, they'll rep where they're from and they'll claim to be advocating for the community, but they're never really in the field. They're never out there, you know, and the way that they even treat other emerging artists is not in a community-minded way. Just trying to finesse and get over.
Exactly.
So leading into my next question, the 90s was known as a time that many refer to as the golden age of female rap, with artists such as Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, MC Lyte, Lil' Kim, and Foxy Brown, just to name a few. What do you feel has led to the decline of female rap, and do you think that it's making a resurgence?
I feel like it's more like what women are talking about. I feel like they were more on a conscious tip, and even if it was kind of, I don't even want to say bragging, but like I'm that female, you know what I mean? Like, but in a lyrical way that made people like, damn, like they go crazy, you know, to like, I feel like now when people think, like, even me, when I tell people like I'm an artist, I'm a rapper, like, oh, what do you rap about? Are you like Cardi B? Or you like Meg? I'm like, why do you think that I'm gonna be rapping about some sexual stuff or like trying to show skin? Like, I don't do that, you know? So I feel like a lot of people, when they hear about female artists, that's exactly what they think. Like, oh, it's like a girl that's just gonna be talking about like shaking ass or da-da-da, but it's like, and I, like, don't get me wrong, I won't knock it, like, do what you have to do for your bag. That's just not me, you know what I mean? So I feel like with time, like, I don't know, I feel like it's just been very, like, it influenced a lot of females. Like, I mean, it's crazy even seeing, like, high school girls, like, the way they dress. I'm like, dude, like, I look at my siblings, I'm like, when you guys were in school, like, the early 2000s, like, it was so different, you know what I mean? It was so different, you could see, but I feel like music has such an influence, and I don't want to be that influence to be making them take the wrong road. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to try to steer them back into the right direction, you know, have self-love, like, be there for people, like, instead of just thinking like the world revolves around just you. We're all here, you know what I mean? No one's bigger than anybody else, you know? So I feel like that's a message that definitely influenced me from 90s artists that I just want to keep alive. Like, I don't want to get, I don't want to get sidetracked, and definitely change my persona into that, you know? Like, I feel like the music isn't about us. We're leaving this music behind for the generations coming up. So it's like, what do you want to leave behind for like the youngins that are coming up, like to teach them how to like shake ass, or knowledge, you know what I mean? Knowledge and how to be free from a corrupt system like this, you know? Like, I don't know. I feel like to each his own, though.
No,
But,
facts. No, you just said that, though, for real. You speak truth to power. You know, you're obviously somebody who's very headstrong. You're very smart, and you have it going on. Like, honestly, like with everything, and just hearing you talk, I'm so glad to sit down and speak with you. I'm just wondering, you know, you've talked about your artistic influences, but in just hearing about your mindset, was there a family member? Did you have a mentor? Or what could you say was a big influence on the way that you navigate the world and the way that you view things?
I feel a lot of just research, really. You know what I mean? I feel like everything I've learned, like, it wasn't because people told me, it's because I went out to look for it. You know, and it sucks that that's what we have to do to learn about this stuff. But if I could throw it in my music and make it, like, it's kind of like, okay, like the book, I think it's The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. He was like a philosopher from like the 1600s. And the way he words stuff is very interesting. And Tupac read this book, you know what I mean? But it's like...
Is this the French book? Like the little cartoon?
No, it's not. It's like it's like a bit long book.
Okay. Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. But basically it's like, you know, he took all this knowledge from reading, and Tupac was intelligent, you know, but once he worded it for people who don't understand, because they use vocabulary a lot of people out here don't get, you know what I mean? So when he words it like, you know, they got money for wars but can't feed the poor, then everyone's like, oh shit, like he's so right about, you know, and it makes sense to you now. So it's really wording it for other people to understand it. And I know a lot of people aren't going to go out and do that research. So if I could try to squeeze it in and make it catchy for people to listen and really hear, like the fuck 12, you know, everyone's like, yeah, fuck 12. But when they hear that message, like, damn, this cop really did kill Derek Gaines. You know what I mean? I was falsely arrested by 4 white cops and a white witness. Like, and I didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like when you hear that story now, not just the hook saying like, fuck the police, but like you hear that, it's like, wow, and these are the areas we live in. You know what I mean? These are the cops that are literally getting paid to be working. You know what I mean? Like working these beats. Like, so I feel like that's like.
And you know, when you've lived these experiences. And when you're aware of these things, I feel like it's very hurtful for people to even suggest that fighting for what's right is something that's played out, you know?
And it's like I've heard it also from like people that have been messed with by the system. And that's what hurts the most, that it's like you've been a victim to this and you're just going to act very ignorant, like it's not going to keep happening. You know, and that was the sad part, that once it happened to me, like, of course, like when you're in that position, it's like, why me? But I had to come to that realization. I'm not the first person that got falsely arrested. There's people really doing over 20 years for something they never did. People getting released after 30 years. You know what I mean? And the money, fuck the money. You know what I mean? Like, you losing half of your life for that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just so crazy to me. Like, and I know, like, at some point, like, they're definitely not going to like what I'm saying, but I don't care. I'd rather put my life on the line and do it for the people. You know what I mean? And whatever comes with that, it comes with that.